Okay.
And the
Nasus.
Nasus.
Do you know how well
It's
this
a
is?
good, it's an incredibly good pick into Vayne top.
Okay.
Monstrously good.
So, some lore for people who aren't familiar with some of the new players. Zizzles is an ADC main. He is, I wouldn't quite say a two trick, but he's about as close as you get to a Smolder Aphelios two trick as you'll get without like fully just being one. We're in game now.
We're seeing a 5-point by Chaotic Disposition, and I think we're seeing a stack from Chrono Break, which makes sense. I would suspect with the Nautilus they might look for an invade, although Chaotic Disposition's level 1 is pretty worthless, so
Yeah.
it makes sense why they didn't go for it. In the end, a bit of a nothing level 1. Scott might be looking for a late ward on the Raptors. He does like to.
Yeah. I think the Xayah will have some good damage output late game. Obviously, they have a lot of the Vi and the Nautilus combo is some insane like guaranteed lockdown. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I think ADC is pretty unplayable here if you're not playing Xayah or like Caitlyn or something that's like really high range.
Yeah, Xayah definitely does well into it. Honestly, so does Smolder to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like deceptively tanky with the ult heal and the fleet
Yeah,
footwork.
and as well,
Obviously,
he'll opt into
if
like
he's
Shojin and BT as well. So
if he's by himself, he's gonna get one shot. But
yeah,
if Vi has to go through a team fight, an entire team
yeah,
fight to get to him,
yeah,
he'll probably be protected
that's
fairly well.
yeah, that'll be a Nasus, and then a Viego on top of her, and then he gets a reset. He can dive back in, and so on and so forth. It's a dangerous game to be walking up, and Ares getting the Vayne treatment immediately.
The Vayne treatment. Oh, and look at that, you.
Oh, I actually forgot which order the bot lane was in. For some reason, I had it in my head that Kargili was going to be the Slayer.
These are going to be some slow laning phases, if I had to guess.
I mean, who benefits if this game goes even? I feel like it's.
I think it will come down to how team fights get played out realistically.
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen is I think they go approximately even. Like they both benefit similarly from going even. It's like one team fight is going to decide how a lot of the rest of the game is going to play out. I reckon.
Yeah, actually, yeah. One thing Eris pointed out in chat, which is very true, is Braum has 100% pick rate so far this season and hasn't won a game yet.
Oh no. Let's hope this doesn't bode. Let's hope this doesn't bode poorly.
The first time for everything, right? Okay.
Yuka jamming is going rabid with the hooks.
There's a lot of really strong moving parts to the CHD roster. Like even Duka Jamming Duka Jamming is probably like their 4th best player in this team, and he's still like that's saying a lot for him. Because Duka Jamming is very consistent.
The Q does connect onto Dusk. Vel'Koz doesn't have the E to pull up there. They get a Braum passive proc. It's an even trade. Not with that Vel'Koz Q.
A Smolder already, even with that even mid staying mid. A big early lead in CS. Seraphine did actually opt for the tier start, which I really think is way too greedy. I think, off the top of my head, I think the only champ that can typically successfully start tier is Cassiopeia. And I think on pretty much every other champ, it's just a no-go, in my opinion.
We see Vi and Viego meeting in the top river here. Billable is going pretty aggressively onto Scott. Scott's passing upwards to his Vayne, which is rotating down. Dizzles trades aggressively with the Beckler. Billable is going to have to sack that grab.
Oh, it's a double knockup from the Vel'Koz.
Oh, a double knockup from the Vel'Koz.
Duka Jamming, not going to be able to find anything. It's an early Dark Harvest attack for Ara on fire. Dusk falling very low.
He's just hitting all of his skill shots, isn't he?
And Dusk is going to get caught out, and that's going to be a first blood. Surely it is for the Vel'Koz. The one assignment that Chrono Break have for this game is to not go behind in bot lane. And at 4 minutes, the Vel'Koz rushes into an early lead. A good hook from Duka Jamming. Dusk just steps a little bit too far outside that minion wave. Ares coping well with this Vayne top so far. Obviously a little bit behind CS and Wave is pushing away from him, but he's staying healthy. Did have to use that TP, did have to invest into that TP earlier, but I think once the Nasus hits 6, the Vayne can be quite worried about getting run down.
Yeah, absolutely.
have a 4-minute stack check on this Smolder. Sitting at 25 so far. I believe, me and Anton very briefly spoke about this, the Smolder versus Asol stacks comparison. I think Smolder is very, very slightly less than Asol, which would mean that 25 is good so far as I know. I don't know if you played on Smolder.
I've dabbled. I think it does seem to be about slightly ahead. I know that usually the 25 margin in bot lane is around 5 to like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
In most lanes, unless you have a particularly trade heavy one.
Yeah, because Asol is 6 per minute before 10 minutes and 10 per minute after 15 minutes. And all I know is that Smolder is like just very slightly less than that basically. Ares doesn't have vision in this river. Vi is posing for a gank here. He's in a good position for a condemn here. Christian Simeone might have gone a little bit too far. He has the cleanse. Ares, just a flash Q is all he's going to need. Doesn't quite have it. He doesn't have flash. Doesn't have flash. He opted in for ghost. Christian Simeone having to use both of those summons just to get away from him. Has created a big CS lead up there, however. Yeah, a good point actually raised in chat is that in Queen Jaffe, Scott finds himself in a little bit of trouble here. The Smolder's going to come out. It's just a tiny bit more damage, and the flash Q is going to be enough. Sizzles on the board. His first kill in UNL takes 6 minutes.
Very well played to Diddles. A great rotation. I didn't even see it on the minimap, but
Yeah.
they caught out Scott perfectly there. Really good rotation by Billboard Diddles.
Yeah.
And a kill on Smolder at this stage in the game is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. Very, very big deal.
The curve on the Smolder Q after the flash was pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, it's always because it's a just point and click, so it's just gonna go straight to wherever it's supposed to. But yeah, it's Smolder accelerating his scaling is, obviously really good for CB.
Yeah, especially getting closer to that Essence Reaver faster is a big deal.
Kebab can see.
But I know mana often serves as a big limiting factor for Smolder's stacking potential in the mid game. So getting these early kills, getting close to that Essence Reaver is a big deal. Are on fire is posing aggressively, but then the bot lane knows Dusk just keeps standing in range of these Qs. Dugu Jamming is definitely looking for a Q here, walking around. They know they have no
stuns. Have to block it. Might have to give his life up here for his ADC. The total disintegration is come out, and Ara now 2 kills on the board. This is their win con for this game. CB, sorry. Really need to slow down this bot lane. Because if this Vel'Koz gets too far ahead, it won't matter how the Smolder plays. It's going to be a Vi and Nautilus ult into Vel'Koz ulti. I have a stack check on this Nasus very quickly. 117 at 8 minutes, which I believe is actually, given the Vayne lane, it's not actually that bad.
It's okay for a ranged lane, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is. I think both teams aren't too. I don't know what's going on down there. It would appear CHD know what the weakness is in the enemy team, and they're ready to exploit it.
Oh,
Poor
no.
Dusk. The cease and desist comes out. The barrier is not going to be enough. Is this going to be a third kill for Aaron Fire? Not quite. The gold.
But it is a third kill onto the bot lane.
Yeah, the gold going over to Scott. Something someone pointed out in chat actually is that Nasus probably should be going for the Airy Emax build into Vayne here.
I'm just taking notes on how to deal with this chaotic disposition team right now. That's 2 plates onto R on fire.
Yeah.
Can we get a gold check real quick?
Can get a gold check indeed. You know, it is a.
Yeah, that is a fucking 1.8k gold lead for the Vel'Koz at 9 minutes. That is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, holy shit, that's insane.
Like neutralizing a lane, especially when it's like a quite a difficult matchup, as playing into a champ that is just poking her from very far away. It is like its own skill in itself, and having a really hard time. The BFT already finished for Ara on fire. An insane amount of gold stocked up onto this Vel'Koz, and we have the third pause of the day. It's time to bring back the elevator music. Now, what do we think of this game state, Sam?
What am I thinking of this game state? Looks pretty fucking bad for Chrono Break.
Yeah.
I am just of the opinion that Vel'Koz versus players, because Aura on Fire is a good player. Obviously, currently, and I think historically, the highest peaking UNL player. Admittedly, on a very different kind of champ pool than the one he's playing right now. But, a very, very strong player. And Vel'Koz versus players that are lower skill level than you is demonic. Because his damage is just so ridiculous. The champ, I just think
tire, according to chat.
In a peak tire? Okay, fine, my bad. Yeah, I think that Vel'Koz, I think he's broken. So being this ahead, I feel like is gonna definitely be a problem. I mean, I'm always open to seeing a Smolder pop off though, and realistically, if this game is going to go to CB's way, it's gonna be because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think even if the Smolder is very strong, he's still gonna have quite a hard time dealing with this Vel'Koz. It's very, very hard to get to him.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't have the kind of frontline guaranteed engage that CHD have with the Vi and Nautilus.
Yeah.
Dude, Vi and Nautilus in a sentence together is just so gross. Like, imagine being an ADC.
Actually, the Malphite would have gone really hard here. So it's a good call on the ban for a CHD. Because obviously it beats the Vayne really hard. It's going to make the Vel'Koz's life a nightmare, even though it's not like a AD damage champ.
Yeah, just the ultimate onto the backline consistently. We see Vi walking into Viego's bot side, but not looking for the steal.
Disgusting. I saw Perfect on Renekton trying to play into Zeus on Vayne top in LCK earlier, and it was absolute misery. He was sounding like 50 CS at 10 minutes.
Yeah, I do think Ares is coping okay.
Yeah, he's
obviously the strength of this matchup isn't in laning phase, it's in Nasus when he has level 5 W. Is Dusk not just like dead in like a one wave?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think so.
Both junglers hovering around the top lane here.
They just have so much control of the spot side of the map. Cloud Consumer trying to finish off those Krugs. I would assume might take a look, have a gander top lane. Christian Simeone, he does have that warded, but he's so far up, I don't think it's going to matter. Ares, you just need to wither. All you need to do is wither. The Ghost is popped. The cleanse comes out. The Stun's not going to land. Flash away. The Heartbreaker's in, but the Cease and Desist is here. Christian Simeone is going to fall to that final strike from the Nasus. The reset onto Kebab Consumer. The camera is panning bot side, and Kargili is very, very alive. Duskdot is going to survive as well, but Kargili dies to a burn in the end. No more kills in the top lane. And it's a double kill for Aura, and it's going from bad to worse really for Chrono Break. But you see, this is the strength that comes with this CHD team. Their strength is in topside. It should be. They have Christian Simeone up there, but they are still winning bot lane against most teams. They have winning players in pretty much all parts of the map except mid and maybe jungle, depending on. I'm not exactly sure how good Bilbo is at jungle. I haven't seen him play it very much, but it's you can see as in they're just winning everywhere except mid lane, obviously. But it's both sides of the map are so strong. Kargili trying to take back his position, having a bit of a fist fight between the supports. They're both just going to stroll back to lane happily. Do I have a second caster with me, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I think you summed up all there really was to say. The bot lane's fucked.
We'll have a look at actual gold values. 5.6k gold.
Yeah, that's 2.7k gold.
Zizzles and Bilbo respectively trying to hold up, and the gap is just becoming bigger and bigger. And you see, this is the problem. It's not like the Smolder, where even if the Smolder gets, CHD still have some methods of dealing with it. This Vel'Koz is going to be a problem no matter how strong he is. That is not taking into consideration how fed he actually is at the moment. That damage is just insane.
I think this drag is just going to result in a bunch of kills for CHD. I could be wrong. Viego's going into
it's a big knock-up. It's a huge circuit. It's blocked by the Braum, but it's not going to matter. One reset onto Kebab Consumer. Dustot is still alive, and Cracker's got the second reset. This could be a really, really big fight here.
Hang
The
on a
Heartbreaker's going to
second.
come out, but he's going to fall. Aura on Fire is just so strong. The Wither going to get Ares out with his life. I believe that was a 2 for 2.
It was a 2 for 3, but CB did get the drag.
Okay.
Oh no, it was a 2 for 2. No, yeah.
Oh, and Sizzles could be in a world of hurt here. Christian Simeone running forward on this vein, has that ultimate available. The Night Hunter move speed might just be enough. The ulti's going to come out, but it's not going to matter. Christian Simeone picking up his first kill of the game. Those Swifties to counteract the Nasus ulti. That damage is just insane.
I mean, yeah, we'll see if they find a way to. There are so many ways to deal with carries on. Like, this is the kind of game where PhD want to play it slowly and, like, don't need to get ahead early game because there are so many ways to deal with strong players.
I have to interrupt you very momentarily. Ares, call an ambulance, but not for me, says Bekla. The stun from Kebab Consumer not quite going to land. This is going to get caught out by the Nautilus hook. That could be very, very dead. Smolder has to use the flash to get away. Doesn't have that ultimate available. Ares trying to knock down Queen Jaffe on this Vi. Christian Simeone having to dash away. And the Vel'Koz ulti is just ticking. It's not quite enough. The cease and desist available, but not going to be used. Kebab Consumer just about gets away with his life. And Aura on Fire just... such a problem for CB to deal with at the moment. It just got too far ahead too easily.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a hot, like, what else? Like, CB just really don't have a way to deal with a threat like this. Their comp is so reliant on not being behind, if that makes sense. Like they still have angles to win this game, but it would be much more noticeable if they weren't just really behind at this point. On the, like CHD would be very happy in a slow game, but like their comp can play around this Smolder if he's like just scaled to infinity, but they've also randomly gotten 8 kills, you know, which they just didn't need to win the game, but it's put them in such a dominant position. They're able to really aggressively play around all these objectives and choke points fights with this Vel'Koz that just one-shots anyone that fucks with him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. 5-0-2, almost has that Shadow Flame. And as well, given the Vayne and the Vi are such big AD threats, forcing this Nasus probably to build MR early, really not ideal. Zizzles just about going to dodge out on that Nautilus hook.
I mean, Zizzles is farming really well. If I had to guess, I'd say he's probably pretty close to 225 already. Maybe at like 150, 170, somewhere.
I can tell you now, he's at 150.
Yeah, 150.
And the Christian Simeone
The
slow.
Wither.
The stun. He uses the cleanse too early. Wait, what is his tenacity? How did that? Oh, you get tenacity from cleanse, don't you? Of course.
Yeah, a lot.
Cleanse is enough to get him out, yeah. I guess 65%, I believe it is. Also, the cleanse really making a huge difference in this game. I didn't even think about it before the game started.
Yeah, it's one of those things where not taking TP like should be a weakness, but because of how safe cleanse makes you, you rarely are forced on a base you don't want as a ranged champ.
3 pairs of Swifties in this game.
I think Ares probably needs to play a little bit less scared of this Vayne. Honestly, this is like high time to be going for withers and then EQs and just doing like a third of her health. When we know her ult and cleanse are both down, but.
Bilbo in no man's land. The cease and desist is going to come out. It's a really big surfing up, and it's blocked again very well by Cargilly. The Braum ulti going to come out to save his teammate's life. Bilbo in no man's land. What on earth was he thinking walking up that far?
I do get it as Viego. You just want to run around in your little stealth mode, man.
Yeah.
You do.
Christian Simeone is here for this fight. Nasus is not. He's getting a lot on this top side, but I don't think... I mean, you kind of do need to fight this Stray because it's third dragon, but they just don't have the resources. Zizzle's CS is very, very, very high. Definitely a win con. Nasus is going to pick up that top lane tower, accelerate his own scaling a little bit, but I think he might be giving up too much at this point. Didn't have that TP available, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, like, the Nasus stacking, I don't know, the Nasus stacks are a win con given that he needs to just be doing as much damage in as little time as possible.
Yeah. Does Braum ulti reduce Vel'Koz ulti damage?
Braum E?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not totally sure. I mean, the awful part of this drag situation, as Eris just pointed out in chat, we have Ocean Drags and Ocean Soul on a team with a Seraphine.
Yeah. 175
with the
Spore. The Smolder's on right now. Sorry, continue.
We're almost getting there. That's a lot of damage onto the Vel'Koz, but we're not going to get more out of it. Duke of Jamming's presence is undeniably there.
Zizzle's baiting very well. Christian Simeone finds himself in a world of hurt. That's going to be a reset onto this Viego. The TP's coming out from the Seraphine as well. I don't think they're going to go for that second kill. But, you know, Christian Simeone, he's out of this fight now if they try to go for something on this Baron.
I think Zizzle is more just going to take the respite to keep stacking. Ares is making use of it on this side of the map to secure his team some gold.
We'll have a look at both of them now. Ares is on 384, 387, as I'm saying it. And then we're going to have to stop that for a second because Gargani's going to get caught out, and the Vel'Koz ulti, not quite enough. Gargani probably didn't have to flash there. I'm pretty sure that was reducing the Vel'Koz ulti damage. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm fairly confident, at least until it became true damage.
Yeah, I think until the passive blocks, I'm pretty sure it does reduce it. Grab Consumer walking up very, very far here. Has that flash, he's gonna go in for Ara, but he's gonna get caught out by a load of CC. He knew they were both there. It's just an overforce from Chrono Break.
Well, yeah. I mean, I assume he just got confidence from Ares being around, but you just can't flash like that next to a Naught and a Vi, and
yeah, I think
it's a death.
Yeah, Nasus opting in for the Frozen Heart second. I think he's going to be absolutely melted by this Vel'Koz if he doesn't get MR soon. Probably got opportunity for a Spirit Visage and third item.
I imagine Spirit Visage will be coming up next. Smolder must be close to 225
yeah,
now.
He's stacking really, really well. I can have a look again. He's at 202 right now.
202? Probably only maybe 2-3 more minutes. We see Scott hovering around this bush. Christian's gonna posse. If Smolder ever walks out too far here, he's a dead man. We'll see what happens.
Oh, I think this is a very dead dragon. I think he might be able to tell from how aggressive Christian's playing. Christian is going to bait, and the Vi is here. And the Cease and Desist not going to be used to flash enough for today. Cease and Desist not actually available, mind you. Duke of Jamming showing his face on the top side of the map as well. I'm on fire. Wait till you see the damage charts this guy's going to have at the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Seraphine hopefully going to start opting in for some Enchanter items soon as well. The CHD. I don't think she needs to go AP given she has a 5-0 Vel'Koz with like 9 CS per minute.
Yeah, definitely not.
I imagine Helia into Moonstone or something along those lines.
Well, I think we're going to see the direction this game is going. If it's going to turn around, I think we're going to find out in like the next five or so minutes when Smolder hits this 225 milestone. I'm not sure where he's up to now.
What I gathered from Smolder after some of the changes is that 225 isn't really that big of a breakpoint anymore, but higher point stacks are like a really, really big deal. I think around 300 is when he starts basically just becoming unstoppable.
Okay. I mean, the drag is coming up. I'm not sure how they're positioned for it. Bilbo's playing a base. Smolder is walking down. It looks like they're going to be angling for a potential contest here.
Yeah, I think he wants the 225 before he goes in, but obviously with the... I haven't actually got objective timers turned on, if you'll bear with me for one moment. There we go. Dragon's up in 30 seconds. I don't think he's going to be able to get that in time. No, he's not. Just 9 stacks off.
And that's just TPing down
TPing
Tribush around
yeah.
3 people.
They've got into the pit first. That's what they need. Not sure if CHD want to contest this or not. I think they are on fire.
The Brom Q doesn't quite connect.
Vi, oh, they didn't actually see that. She went over the wall there. That PC was going to go in, and Ares jumping onto the entire team, and it's a huge Seraphine into Vel'Koz ulti, and Chrono Break are going to melt. It's a big Brom ulti. They might be able to still fight the 5v3. It's a good Xayah ult coming out, but Cargillion gets caught by the cease and desist, and the Smolder Execute has been unlocked, but it's not going to matter because he is dead, and that is an Ocean Soul over to Chaotic Disposition.
Yeah, I mean, what we were talking about with the Nasus and the lack of MR, I mean, the Seraphine ult into the Vel'Koz ult was just deadly. Yeah, I mean, that's like to be honest, the fight was surprisingly close given circumstances. I saw the Smolder dream for a second at the end there. Yeah. They're even like positioned in the exact pose of his Q, but yeah, it wasn't quite enough. Aura's damage was just too much in that fight. He was one-shotting like 5 people at the same fucking time.
Yeah, he's actually 5k gold ahead of Dusk right now. Insane numbers.
It's funny how like so many of this bot lane's deaths were before 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is the thing. These stats were very avoidable. I think that is a big takeaway that you can have even if you lose this game if you're Chrono Break, because like I think what went wrong this game, at least in the very early game, wasn't particularly complex. Like this isn't like it's not.
No, it was very simply getting poked too much and then disrespecting Naught Qs.
Yeah, exactly. It just wasn't. Literally, the first step was not even standing behind minions. It's stuff you can work on, you know. Especially given that this team has been rated so highly. Go and have to stop the train of thought just for a moment. Cargillion, the shield and the flash enough to get away, but Nautilus falling so low. The Seraphine denied. Bilbo throws that hook outside my bedroom window. Christian Simeone is going to be the next to get caught. It's 2 resets. It's going to be a really big fight for Chrono Break. Scott is kept at bay by Brom. Sizzles is still stacking. And this is a huge fight for Chrono Break. Kebab Consumer, it's a 3-0 in favor of Chrono Break. They are not going out of this game without a fight. Oh, it's not over yet.
Was Vel'Koz there? I
don't actually know what happened. Yeah.
I feel like Chaotic is okay. So the Seraphine ult got sent into the Viego possession, so it didn't hit.
Yeah.
Duke of Yaman didn't press it before he died. I don't know what happened with the Vel'Koz ult because he must have been there because it went on cooldown, but he didn't.
He might have cancelled it. We'll have a look. We'll have a look after the game, I think.
Okay.
Vel'Koz ult was out of range apparently, according to chat.
Okay. Well, we randomly have a turning point.
You know,
that was a lot.
Something I just says. Chrono Break is actually ahead in gold now.
That's interesting. Okay, okay, the game's getting interesting, boys. Okay. I mean, Smolder, we definitely saw the value there. It was Zizzles played that incredibly well. The Brawn Peel was also expertly managed by Cargillion. Obviously, their priority going forward needs to be Vel'Koz, because that was one fight where Chaotic Disposition didn't really play around him, and they suffered for it. That doesn't mean that this doesn't really. I don't think this puts Chrono Break in a winning position in team fights because
the Ocean Soul is still there. I mean, if you look at the Ocean Soul, Smolder is actually only 1k behind Vel'Koz now.
Yeah,
and Smolder's scale is a lot better than Vel'Koz is. Not that Vel'Koz is a scale by any means, but
I don't actually think that's true. I think gold is better on Vel'Koz than it is on Smolder.
That's fair enough.
But regardless, I think you're right that it's important that they're getting close. I mean, that Smolder damage is ridiculous.
Jesus. I'll have a look at stacks really quick. 274 he's at.
You know, guys, I'm beginning to see the Smolder dream right here.
Yeah, I can see this game. And you know, if you're Chrono Break, if you come up with a win against a team rated so highly, oh no, Zizzle's just gonna fly over the wall!
Smolder's such a bullshit champion. I guess he lives that. We're gonna see them positioning around this dragon now. Baron, sorry.
I think the only issue that you have with this game is that I think if they win this game, that pick won't be seeing very much play for the rest of the season. This is
Definitely not into the lower pointed mid laners, that's for sure.
Oh, this is an interesting game. It feels even now. Like it feels like both teams are close. Like a fight could go either way.
If not for the Ocean Soul, I'd dare say that CB were ahead.
Oh yeah, on the point before I was rudely interrupted by a Nautilus hook. If you come away with a win in this first game against a team rated so highly as CB, that's a big like momentum just burst immediately. Like that's a huge mental boost.
Yeah, for sure.
And
at least having the game be close is already a big deal.
Yeah,
I think.
and on the contrary, if you're CHD and you've been rated so highly, and then you're losing to a team that has been tipped to go out of playoffs, or almost out, very almost out of playoffs, that's going to have its own effect on mental. If you're not someone that's sort of if you're someone that lets those kind of things affect you. But one thing to know is that this Vel'Koz has finished his death cap, which is
okay. So Kelby's mentioned are now playing on this Baron. I think CB still in winning positions on team fights. Oh, Christian Simeone is sending on Zizzles here.
Zizzles is caught out. Zizzles getting caught out as well. The Heartbreaker has to be used defensively. Cargilly is going to fall here. It's a very big Smolder ultimate, but the Nasus is now here. The Seraphine ulti is not going to connect, not going to get much done, excuse me. And Christian Simeone, the Vayne is here and Zizzles is dead! That's a huge problem, and he's been caught out, and that might spell the end of Chrono Break just like that. The Smolder stepped up a couple of pixels too far. As pointed out in chat, Xayah had the flash, the barrier, the ult, everything available.
The bottom line is that Vayne is always going to decimate Smolder in that kind of situation. Smolder just can't keep up with the invisibility and the burst damage.
Yeah, and
that's Aaron over to get the disposition. They're going to be playing around the Elder coming up there,
yeah, I think that could be the funeral. Chrono Break just getting caught out just a little bit. I think even if the Braum was the only one that got caught, they might have been able to escape with their lives, but they went in to try and help their teammate, and it spelled the end for them. I don't know if they have it in them to be able to survive 2.5 minutes, excuse me, of an Elder and a Baron buff combined.
I think the TP coming in from Ares.
The Elder's going to go down. You do not want to fight this. That team is so strong with that Elder buff.
It's just going to be a 5-man mid type deal, I suppose.
Yeah.
Aura is going to be lethal with the Elder Dragon on the Vel'Koz here.
Yeah.
Although I imagine they're sitting on a lot of gold, so they're going to be playing the base. Man, what a borderline perfectly played game by Aura.
Yeah. 654 on Nasus and 360 on Smolder. You know, it doesn't have to be completely over yet. If they can somehow last this Elder, there might still be an angle back in, because I think the difference with these teams is that like this Vel'Koz, for example, is going to hit a ceiling, and I think that ceiling is actually very close given he has his like 3 core already finished. But the Smolder and the Nasus, Smolder in particular, is only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger depending on how long this game goes. So I think CHD want to start speeding this up if they can. But that Seraphine healing and shielding is just insane. Smolder calling his mom down to help. So much healing on this Seraphine, it is insane with the combination with the Ocean Cell.
He's kind of felt like a non-factor up until now, but we're really seeing how that healing come through.
Yeah, Baptiste is going to get caught out, and Zizzles is going to get caught by the Cease and Desist. The Seraphine ult is going to land, and that is going to be the end of the Chrono Break dream for game 1.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And it was just a case of just simple deaths. So many different points in the game. First 10 minutes they were doing well for a period of like 5-10 minutes in that game, and then just getting caught out again and again and again. But these are things that are very solvable. That's going to get caught out by the hook. Xayah ulti is used. Grab Consumer trying his best to get anything he can from this game. That second tower is going to fall. That damage onto the Xayah is unbelievable. Yeah. And that is going to spell the end of day 1 of UNL Season 11.
GG to Chaotic Disposition, a dominant showing from the bot lane in particular there, but well played to everyone all around.